So Spider-Man 2 the game was well received with fans and critics alike. Expectations were swinging through great heights, and we couldn't wait to see what the web-slinger can do next. Both during and after the Sam Raimi trilogy era, as I call it, Spider-Man went off to other Marvel games completely unrelated from the films, like Ultimate Spider-Man and the Marvel Ultimate Alliance series. Whether it was mixed to good, Spidey still came out on top. This continued all the way to the 2010s, and although the Raimi trilogy was over, it was time to think outside the box. In the comics, there are a lot of versions of Spider-Man and other Marvel characters from many different worlds and what-if scenarios. You can make good video games and movies out of them. Even one of the most popular comic book storylines, the Clone Saga, opened up the lid and was adapted in the 90s cartoon. That's the storyline that introduced us to Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider, arguably the best interpretation of Spider-Man. Overall, it is a pretty solid concept to get behind. Case in point, Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions on the Xbox 360. Yeah, this is before the Spider-Verse storylines got started, even arguably the best Spider-Man movie ever. Now, I did play this game before until I stopped at the third act. Not that it was bad or anything, I remember playing it fine, it's just that I moved on to other games and stuff in my backlog. But I am quite curious to jump back into this, and hey, the game is almost 10 years old, so let's see how this one holds up now. The game starts off with a Stan Lee narration.
Hey there, true believers. Watch as once again frightening forces are at work in our world, ready to wreak havoc with our very existence. Who or what prowls the halls of Empire State University after dark? None other than the master of illusion himself, the menacing Mysterio.
Oh boy, him again. Look, I don't think the character of Mysterio is bad or anything, it's just this is the third game in a row I'm covering that has him in it, and he's the main villain of this one no less. But at least he's not a pathetic Hollywood celebrity who deserved a hilarious defeat. Anyway, Mysterio proceeds to steal the Tablet of Order and Chaos, but Spider-Man is here to teach him a lesson. During their fight, Mysterio finds the tablet glowing and shields himself with it, causing Spidey to shatter it into 16 fragments. Mysterio escapes with one of them, and Madam Web appears to tell Spider-Man about the current situation.
Spider-Man, you are needed.
Madam Web? As if this night wasn't strange enough already.
The Tablet of Order and Chaos is the most powerful of all the mystic artifacts in the world, and you shattered it.
Yeah, sorry about that. Guess they don't make tablets like they used to, huh?
The pieces are now fragmented across other dimensions, dimensions that are strange reflections of our own, a past unlike ours, a present day out of sync, and a distant future which may or may not come to pass.
Is that a cartoon pig?
Focus. I require your help. Yours and the help of these 3 other Spider-Men. The heroes into whose realities the tablet fragments fell.
Whoa, slow down. Other realities? Other me's?
Yes, I have explained our dire situation to them. They will be your allies in this quest.
But I'm the most charming, right?
You must gather all the pieces of the tablet before they fall into the wrong hands, or our reality, as well as theirs, will be utterly destroyed.
Yeah, right. No pressure or anything.
During the adventure, the gameplay is divided between segments: The Amazing Spider-Man, the Ultimate version with the symbiote black suit, Spider-Man Noir from the 1930s, and finally Miguel O'Hara, the Spider-Man from the future of 2099. We'll see in 79 years when we make it there. You go through the game going after different versions of classic Spider-Man villains who have a fragment of the tablet, which gives them powerful enhancements during their final encounters. Even Mysterio's fragment gives him the power of real magic. We don't see all 4 Spider-Men on screen together until like the very end of the game when they finally defeat Mysterio and put the tablet back together. They go their separate ways, and that's the story. Very simple and straightforward. Anyway, the game was developed by Beenox instead of Treyarch. Now, I'm not going to compare this one too much to Spider-Man 2 the game, since it's so drastically different. While you can web swing in this game, it's not given much focus. I can tell you, it took me a while to get used to how the swinging worked. It feels more heavy than it did before, and the added animations don't make it flow that well. But they overcompensated with web zipping to certain perch points, which I also had to get used to. Thankfully, whenever I was about to fall to my death, I can always recover from that. Anyway, Shattered Dimensions goes for a more linear beat-em-up approach. We only control one Spider-Man at a time throughout most of the entire game. The only exceptions to this are the tutorial and the final level with Mysterio, where we seamlessly transition from one Spidey to the other. Each Spider-Man has their own unique gimmicks in combat. Although the Amazing Spider-Man is the most basic of the bunch, he has a variety of strong web attacks. Ultimate Spider-Man uses a suppressed symbiote suit thanks to Madam Web, but it doesn't stop him from unleashing Rage Mode. Ha, no, not God of War Rage Mode. This happens whenever the gauge is full and will keep going when you rack up combos. You use the symbiote tendrils to take out huge waves of enemies quickly and efficiently as possible. Spider-Man 2099's combat is more quick and his fights are easier with the accelerated vision power that slows things down around him. He also has those skydiving segments whenever you're chasing the villains, which are pretty badass. By the way, I do think 2099's costume is very unique. It's very well detailed, from the glow and texture of his suit, the spider logo, the spikes on his wrists, and I love how his color scheme is reversed. I know there has been some confusion over his costume's color. It was originally supposed to be a reflective black like Venom, but it appears blue in the comics because of coloring errors. You know, like how the Hulk was originally supposed to be gray, but there were errors in keeping the color consistent, so they went with green instead. So they went with blue for 2099 to avoid confusion. But I do see the original look for the most part, so it's not an entirely huge loss. Either way, I still think he looks great. Finally, we have Spider-Man Noir, and I think his levels are the best in the whole game, the second best being 2099. Noir is more focused on stealth to progress. I hear these segments keep being compared to Batman Arkham Asylum since that game came out before this one. Yes, there are similarities. The setting and tone is dark and brooding.
Next on my list, Osborn's right-hand monster. A sadistic circus geek who grew to love the taste of raw flesh. Like his namesake. Call him Adrian Toombs. Call him Vulture. Call him whatever you want. I'll always call him the bastard who killed my uncle. And not just killed.
Oh my god, that's fucked up. Just the thought of it, you know? And this game's rated teen, not mature. I love it. I guess that was too extreme for Into the Spider-Verse.
We've all been there. You know, for me, it was my Uncle Ben.
For me, it was my Uncle Benjamin.
He got eaten by a man-vulture. Did I mention I made a deal with the devil? Oh, sorry, wrong character. You find strategies to take out foes stealthily, and you find items and enemies using spider sense, which the other Spider-Man also use. Okay, sure, but it isn't entirely one-to-one. Noir doesn't have a utility belt, he can't step into any lighted areas or he'll get caught in the enemy's line of sight, and his moveset in combat is very different when he is allowed to be given fight segments. If you try to fight thugs head-on during stealth sections, it doesn't work. Granted, there are a fuck ton of variables and gadgets to take out goons in the Arkham series, but with Noir, it's all about webs and wits. So it's all a matter of how these aspects are presented. Pick whatever you prefer. There are a variety of challenges that each Spidey can do in a chapter, and when you complete them, you are rewarded with Spider Essence, which is a very odd way of saying experience points or XP. Is the essence like DNA, limbs, blood? Will it turn one of them into a spider mutant? God, that term sounds so wrong! Anyway, it helps each Spidey become stronger and learn new skills in combat. You can jump into these menus at any time whenever you have enough XP to purchase what you want to get. The spider emblems are used to restore your health and give you more XP. The locking system is alright. It's represented by the red circle around enemies and objects in the environment, and it can auto-lock when you're not in the defensive stance, which is a manual lock-on by holding the left trigger. Sometimes when you're just getting into the groove of combat, you'll be facing someone and swipe at the air like a fool and realize, oh, that's not the guy I'm supposed to pummel, he's over there. Can you dodge? Yes, you can, either by tapping the same trigger, which is pretty awkward, or press the jump button while in defensive stance. Okay, that's also awkward, but it's the most simple thing I did better. I honestly prefer the lock-on system in the Spider-Man 2 game, which I failed to bring up in the last review. So yeah, if you ask me, Spider-Man 2 had the best combat and it flows much better. Back to Shattered Dimensions, you rack up combos with each hit and move you make, and you earn more experience points. You also get experience points when you complete the level and earn medals depending on your performance. Why did that take so long to complete the stage? Okay, I think I realized another reason why I stopped the game at the beginning of the third act a long time ago. The pacing can be pretty slow at times. Here's how it's laid out. You explore the level at a set path to take. You encounter the villain and have a normal battle with them. You follow the set path again, You face the villain again in a second battle with the tablet fragment, giving them more power. You beat the villain, you get the tablet fragment, and that's it. Each level follows this basic formula. It's not god-awful, it's just tedious. It took me about 10 hours to finish this game. I had to take breaks between each level. Going through this in one sitting kind of feels like a chore for me, so I decided to spend each day trying to get through a few levels. The only one level that seems to break that mold is the Deadpool level. It's my favorite one, where you get to explore every nook and cranny for tasks and collectibles. There are also times during a boss battle where you get up close and personal, pounding their mugs to a pulp and dodging when they try to hit back, which is kind of difficult to pull off. If this game was optimized to run at 60 frames per second, then the dodge controls in those parts would flow better. That also brings me to the graphics. They look good for an Xbox 360 title, but there's no 60 FPS flowing throughout. The cel-shaded comic book style on both the Amazing and Ultimate Dimensions are awesome, while 2099 has a solid future aesthetic, and Noir has a realistic sepia tone look. The lighting for the latter two makes them look so much better in my eyes. The enemy designs are also unique, so it doesn't feel like you're fighting the same type of enemy over and over again. I also love the character designs of the villains, the Noir versions especially. They have a grim, creepy look to them. Why? I guess I just love dark and macabre versions of certain characters. Depends on if they're done well, and with the Noir dimension, they are. Let's move on to the sound design. The voice cast here is pretty solid. We got voice actors who took the role of Spider-Man previously playing their respective roles here. We have Neil Patrick Harris from the new animated series, and Josh Keaton from the Spectacular Spider-Man, both giving off smart-ass performances.
Wow, love your headdress. Is that from the Skull Collection? May I suggest an accoutrement? Perhaps something from the Webbing Collection. Ha! Classic. Ooh, I'm scared.
Sorry, not a fan of getting electrocuted. It really hurts. Hurts with a Z? You see what I did? Come on, that was genius.
Dan Gilvezan from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends is good too. He makes the role of 2099 his own with his campy tone. I'll leave that up for you to decide if that fits with this setting.
That's me, ready to save the universe and looking good while doing it.
Finally, we have Christopher Daniel Barnes from the 90s animated series giving off a badass performance as Noir.
I'm coming for you, Hammerhead. Time for that mano-a-mano we talked about earlier.
Still, it makes me wonder how these scenes would go if Nicolas Cage voiced him.
Wherever I go, the wind follows. And the wind, it smells like rain.
But this guy, I can tell you, he has come a long way since...
Get back here, Shocker! Shocker! You can't escape me! I'll chase you to the ends of the earth!
Oh my god, that scene is hilarious for all the wrong reasons. Can I see that again?
Shocker!
Okay, I'm done. We have a ton of veteran voice actors as well. We have Don DiMaggio as Hammerhead.
I should have used this rock sooner. First, I'll get rid of you. Then, I'll get rid of Osborn. I'll own this town. Ready for a real fight, tough guy?
Steve Bloom as Vulture.
It's time for the Vulture to feast.
Yeah? Eat this!
Jim Cummings as Kraven the Hunter and Goblin Noir.
They've come to study at the foot of the master, to learn the art of the hunt from the greatest hunter of all.
And the most modest.
You dare poke me in front of my students?
No, in front of your boy band.
Behold! The goblin in all his glory. Stronger, more powerful.
And that hair, it's scarier than ever.
I'll give you something to be scared of.
Tara Strong as Doc Ock 2099.
That this artifact is an energy source of almost immeasurable power. Clearly, this calls for proactive measures to prevent it from falling into the hands of rivals.
Nolan North as Deadpool.
Where am I? Yoo-hoo! Watch me, Mommy! Watch me! Ta-da! Live and in person, the one, the only, Deadpool! Oh, look at you. What about me? I thought you'd be taller. Oh well, we just won't use a lot of wide lenses. Deadpool! Thank you, thank you. Don't throw flowers, just send money.
Don't take this the wrong way, but you seem a couple peas short of a pod.
And Thomas F. fucking Wilson as Electro. Yes, Biff Tannen as a Spider-Man villain.
See what I found? What do you think happens if I use it?
Interest rates go down?
Yes. It's like my powers are totally unleashed. Now I can absorb all this energy. Energy without limit!
What are you looking at, butthead?
The in-game dialogue can get repetitive, but a memorable moment can pop here and there. Yes, even the Deadpool level.
Right, go ahead and pause whenever it's convenient for you. What about me? What about my needs?
The music for the most part is alright. I think 2099 and Noir shine more on that front. The rest of the soundtrack is pretty generic. While I think the game feels slow, Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions is a keeper. I still had fun, especially when I made it to the third act and beat it. When it gets things right, it gets them right. Unfortunately, it's not on the digital storefronts on the Xbox 360 and PS3 anymore, like some other 7th gen Spider-Man games. I wonder why. So you will have to hunt for a physical copy. I'm going to give Shattered Dimensions a solid B-, and that's only judging it as its own thing. Anyway, we're going to wrap up this Spider Marathon with Spider-Man PS4 by Insomniac Games. This is Justinfinity, and I have no limits. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon for more content. I also have Patreon and Subscribestar that you can donate to help support the show, even for $1 a month. You can also get exclusive content in return. I also have my social media pages in the description box so you can follow me. Lastly, I would like to give a shout out to my close friend and artist Carly for putting together highlights of our Pokemon Gold Nuzlocke streams, so you can check out our silly antics here. We're looking forward to do more streams together. Hope you'll join the fun on Twitch, and once again, thank you for watching.